The auction hall reeked of desperation and disinfectant. Cameron stood at the back, his prosthetic leg aching from the cheap neural interface the VA had installed 3 years ago. Around him, traders and slavers bid on salvage, the polite term the Galactic Council used for sentient beings whose worlds had been conquered or destroyed. He wasn't supposed to be here. Earth had signed treaties against this sort of thing. But Cameron had learned during the Proxima campaign that treaties were just expensive paper when you were light years from anyone who cared. Lot 847, the auctioneer's translator chirped. Arachnus widow, approximately 30 standard cycles old. Warning: species exhibits post-mating cannibalistic tendencies. Homeworld destroyed. No living relatives. Starting bid, 1 credit. Cameron watched as a creature was led onto the platform. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, her chitinous exoskeleton a deep obsidian that caught the harsh lights. Her arms hung limp at her sides, and her multifaceted eyes stared at nothing. Where her people's natural elegance should have been evident, there was only the vacant posture of someone who had given up. The crowd murmured with disinterest. Arachnids were known for their intelligence and their ferocity. A widowed female, one who had lost her mate, was considered doubly dangerous and utterly worthless. Their grief made them unpredictable, violent even. No bids. The auctioneer's mandibles clicked with annoyance. Fine. 20 cents. Do I hear 20 cents? Cameron's hand went up before his brain caught up with his body. The auctioneer's eyes swiveled to him. Sold to the human in the back. Next lot. Her designation was Stella. She told him this in the transport shuttle, her voice like whined through crystals, beautiful and broken. She hadn't spoken a word during the processing, hadn't looked at him when he'd signed the transfer documents. But as they left the station, something in her seemed to crack. Why? She asked, her translator struggling with the grief harmonics in her native language. Why would you purchase death? Cameron didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on the view screen, watching the stars streak past. I didn't purchase death. I purchased a person. I am no person anymore. Her forehands clenched and unclenched. My mate fell when the Krelthans burned our breeding grounds. By our customs, I should have ended myself. I am hollow. Yeah, Cameron said quietly. I know about hollow. She finally turned to look at him. Really look at him. Her compound eyes could see in spectrums humans couldn't, could detect the micro-expressions that revealed truth from lies. She saw the titanium leg, the scars on his hands, the way he held his left shoulder slightly higher to compensate for shrapnel damage. She saw another hollow thing. You are damaged, she observed. We both are. Cameron's homestead was on a backwater colony world called New Manitoba, all prairie grass and purple skies. He'd bought the land with his discharge bonus, planning to live out his days in quiet solitude. The house was small, the work was hard, and the isolation was exactly what he'd wanted. Stella stood in the main room, looking around at the sparse furniture, the recycled equipment, the single bed. Where do you want me? What do you mean? For breeding? For labor? For? Her voice dropped. For disposal? Cameron felt something hot and angry rise in his chest. None of that. You're not property, Stella. The contract? I'm having a lawyer friend dissolve it. You're free to go whenever you want. She was silent for a long moment. And if I have nowhere to go, then you can stay. Help with the farm if you want. Or don't. Your choice. What? That word again, laden with centuries of cultural confusion. Humans are weak. Fragile. Why show mercy to a creature that could kill you while you sleep? Cameron met her multifaceted gaze. Because nobody showed me mercy when I needed it. And I'm tired of living in a universe without any. The first week, Stella barely left her room. Cameron worked the fields alone, planting protein grain for the season. His leg ached constantly, and his back wasn't what it used to be, but the work was honest. Simple. The second week, he found her in the garden at dawn. She was motionless, her exoskeleton drinking in the rising sun. Arachnids were partially photosynthetic, he remembered. They needed sunlight to process certain nutrients. Better than the station lights? He asked. Like water in a desert. She paused. Cameron, may I help? By the third week, the farm had transformed. Stella's 4 arms could work at speeds that made Cameron dizzy. She wove support structures for climbing plants from her own silk, structures stronger than steel and beautiful in their geometric complexity. She understood crop rotation instinctively, could sense soil composition through her feet, could predict weather patterns from atmospheric pressure changes. Your people were farmers. Cameron asked one evening, watching her work. We were artists, architects, poets. Her mandibles clicked softly. We grew cities from living crystal, sang our histories in harmonic frequencies your ears cannot detect. And the Krelthins burned it all because we refused to mine our sacred caves for their war machine. Cameron was quiet. He'd heard similar stories 1,000 times. The galaxy was full of refugees, of broken people from broken worlds. He'd helped create some of those stories during the Proxima campaign. That guilt never slept. I'm sorry, he said. You did not burn my world. No, but I burned someone else's. Stella turned all her eyes on him. Then we are both ghosts, haunting our own lives. Yeah, Cameron said. I guess we are. For months after the auction, Cameron woke to the sound of singing. Not human singing. Something that resonated in frequencies that made his bones vibrate, that brought tears to his eyes without understanding why. He found Stella in the garden, her exoskeleton gleaming in the moonlight. She was weaving something enormous and intricate from her silk, a sculpture that caught starlight and refracted it into patterns that seemed to tell a story. I thought your people were gone, Cameron said softly. They are. Stella's voice was still sad, but something else lived in it now. Something fragile and new. But their art should not be. Someone should remember. Someone should witness. Cameron watched the patterns shift and dance. It's beautiful. It is grief, Stella corrected. And hope can both exist together. I think they have to, Cameron said. Otherwise, what's the point of survival? Stella was silent for a long moment. Then, Cameron, you paid 20 cents for me. Best investment I ever made. You are a fool. Probably. And yet, her mandibles clicked in what he'd learned was amusement. You are my miracle. This broken human who saw a monster at auction and chose mercy. Cameron smiled. You're not a monster, Stella. Your family. Above them, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance. Two ghosts, haunted by their pasts, working together to build something like a future. It wasn't much. But in a universe of darkness, even the smallest light was worth fighting for. And on a backwater colony called New Manitoba, under purple skies and twin moons, that light grew a little brighter each day.